Steve Robbins here. Welcome to the Get It Done Guys quick and dirty tips to work less and do more. Bosses! I just love bosses. Really, I do. You see, bosses tell me what to do and I do it. It's just like being in a relationship, only with a boss, I get paid instead of paying. In my episode on prioritizing when you have many bosses, I suggested that sometimes you just need to say no to a boss. And it's not just bosses. Sometimes you have to say no to other people at work. Today, we'll explore that in a lot more detail. Know when to say no. If you don't just say no willy-nilly, that would be bad. You would miss a lot of opportunity, but if you don't say no enough, you end up overloaded with other people's work that they've foisted on you because they can. How do you know when to say no? Say no when asked to do something that doesn't play to your strengths. If you're great at thinking creatively and strategically, say no when you're asked to do detailed data entry. If you're great at details, data, and technology, say no when you're asked to spend time brainstorming with clients. When you apply your strengths, you'll enjoy what you're doing, you'll do it well, and you'll do it quickly. When given a task that plays to your weaknesses, you'll take longer, you won't enjoy it, and your life energy will drain away, turning you into a dry, brittle husk. This isn't an absolute no, however. Sometimes you do want to stretch and grow outside your comfort zone. You may want to say yes to just go further with your career and skill development. But even if you want to take on an additional project or task, look over your current commitments and realistically decide if you have time. Remember, your schedule needs enough unscheduled slack time so that you can deal with unexpected emergencies without throwing your whole life into chaos. Unless the unexpected emergency is global warming or peak oil, in which case slack time doesn't actually help very much. Plus, you have to remember to schedule time for all of those transitions back and forth between tasks so that you're not totally overwhelmed. If you have no room for a new commitment, say no. Negotiate exchanges with colleagues. If it's a colleague asking and you want to find a way to say yes to their request, say, "I'd like to say yes, but I'm completely booked. Maybe you can help." Then outline the projects that are currently on your plate and find out if there's some way your colleague can help with one of your projects while you help with one of theirs. Imagine a colleague asks you to help negotiate delivery terms with a vendor while you're trying to finish a report. Maybe your colleague, who could secretly be a Pulitzer Prize-winning novelist in their spare time, can edit the draft of your report while you go and negotiate with the vendor. Negotiate terms with your boss. If it's your boss asking, you need to help your boss manage you wisely. First, use simple math to estimate how much progress you'll be able to make on the new initiative. Count up the total number of projects and initiatives you're working on. Let's say you have 5 major projects. Divide that into 40 to find the number of hours each week that you can spend on each project. In this case, 40 divided by 5 means that you can spend 8 hours each week per project. This is assuming that all of your time is spent on project work. It will take you 5 weeks to put in a normal 5-day work week's worth of progress on any one project. If you take a 6th initiative, you can now only spend 40 divided by 6, or about 6.5 hours per project per week. This means that with a 6th project on your plate, you've split your time to the point where you can't even make a full day's progress on any given project each week. Give your boss choices. Explain this calculation to your boss. Ask your boss, what will be the best way to make room for the new project? Should you drop an existing project? Extend the deadline for an existing project and work on it fewer hours per week? Deliver at a lower quality level that will take you less time? By giving your boss the choice, they get to stay the boss. You're not saying no. You're just outlining the reasonable, rational analysis of the situation. If your boss says you must do everything at full quality, on time, your boss is living in a fantasy land. No, you can't do 50 hours worth of work in 40 hours just by working harder. You just showed your boss the math. Have them explain specifically how you can reduce your per-project time by 1.5 hours on the 5 projects and still meet the same deadlines. You aren't a slave. You are allowed to have a life. If your boss says, just come in on weekends, it's your time of reckoning. You can meekly submit and set the precedent of working 15% more for no additional pay. After all, I'm sure any boss who would ask that of you will gratefully surprise you next month with a 15% raise, or with being laid off. You never know. If you choose to tell your boss no, you've set your boundaries, preserved your dignity, and maybe even gotten yourself fired. But this is the choice you've made. Say calmly, I'm sorry, there isn't time for me to take on a 6th project and still deliver the other 5. I simply can't do it. Please help. My episode on how to say no with integrity will help, and there's a link in this episode's transcript. Saying yes to all requests is a quick way to work more and do less. Say no to requests that don't play to your strengths unless they'll give you valuable learning experience. Figure out the schedule impact of saying yes, and then negotiate exchanges with colleagues when they make requests, and negotiate project terms with your boss when your boss makes requests. If you truly must say no, do it with honesty, grace, and style. This is Steve Robbins. You can find this episode's transcript with links to the episode on multiple bosses and saying an honest no at getitdone.quickanddirtytips.com. I help highly committed people take bold steps to up their game personally and professionally. If you want to know more, visit steverrobbins.com. That's SteverRobbins.com. This podcast is brought to you by Marketing Profs. Marketing Profs is a one-stop shop for marketing know-how. Join a community of more than 500,000 entrepreneurs, small business owners, and professional marketers to get practical advice on marketing tips. Sign up for your free basic membership at mprofs.com/getitdone. Work less, do more, and have a great life.